Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. I have a reaction video here for you today. We are looking at some TikTok, some Instagrams, and just seeing what we can find on the World Wide Web. Just before we get into that, as I always say in these videos, creativity and individuality have no rules, but makeup most definitely has a theory. These videos are for people who want to know that theory. So go ahead, consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and let's just get straight into it. And also, just before we get into this video, I want you to help me find the most ridiculous hacks, makeup hacks, wherever it is that you can, and send them to me either in a message, just at me on them over on TikTok, Instagram. I'll leave all my links on the screen and also down below in the description box, and just so I can take a peek at them.
When I saw Hailey Bieber pump her foundation into the palm of her hand, I was like, what is she doing? But she actually might be onto something. The palm of your hand is the only place in your entire body that doesn't have pores. Your foundation is not going to sink into the palm of your hand, and you get more coverage from it. Such a good hack. Thank you, Hailey.
That surface level might seem like a good hack because, you know, well, first of all, your skin doesn't absorb product anyway. Like your face isn't absorbing foundation, you know what I mean, or anything like that. That's like saying if you were to put like water on the back of your hand, it would sink into your back of your hand. Our skin doesn't tend to absorb makeup products in that way at all. There's certain things in there that don't penetrate into the skin. So she's just using the palm of her hand as a palette, which I've seen people do. Yes, the one side of your hand may be more porous, so it may like grip onto certain things, but whatever way you do it, you're gonna lose a little bit of product on the way. It's either getting stuck on your brush, stuck on your beauty blender, stuck on your hand, stuck on a palette. Even when you pump directly onto the skin, it's still getting on the brush. It's just the way she's doing it. There's no real benefit to that.
No. No, 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 no. Exactly.
Now, this depends on the type of nose you want. If somebody has a smaller nose, then you could absolutely do a line down the whole nose. Maybe with a shade, you notice the skin tone, that highlighter was silver against that skin tone. If you were to go with a highlighter that was a little bit more, perhaps rose gold, then it would just look like a natural shine. If you're going to use a highlighter that is drastically looking like a highlighter that's silver or metallic, then of course it's going to look unreal. So on my nose, for example, that is quite long. The method they did in that video where they did a bit here and a bit here is really nice because it gives this area depth. It cuts off the long length of that nose. However, if somebody's nose was turned up already and quite short, you're actually making it even more turned up and even shorter. So you can elongate it. So it's totally, there's not real contouring and highlight, there's not really one way to do it depending on our bone structure. Everyone's face is different. I always say to contour, look down, see where the natural shadows are on your face. To highlight, look up and around and see what areas of the skin catch the light and then pinpoint some of those areas with your highlighter. The only one I agree with there is the hairline one, but you should like blend into the hairline. However, again, it depends on bone structure and what you want. There's no same way to contour everyone's face. The jaw's a difficult one because it really depends if you want sharpness or if you want to keep it soft, or if you're just contouring a double chin. If you're just contouring a double chin, then you want to keep it under the jawline and maybe even perhaps bring it down to the neck a little bit more. If you just want a sharper jawline, then you can absolutely bring it up onto the edge of the jaw a little bit and stop in certain places and blend it into that one area, not too high. That's good because when you're doing freckles, right? When we look at people's freckles in real life, freckles are sporadic. They're not like, we see a lot of these like freckle tattoos or freckles. Actually, they make me gag. Have you seen them? They look like holes in the face. They give them a shadow for some reason. They look really strange. I love freckles, but the freckle tattoo transfers are horrible. What was I going to say? But one thing I question that is hydrating it and then doing it on the face. Like with the pressure of your finger, you might be breaking down your makeup a little bit. The best thing to do is probably to just use a freckle pen on your fingers, or even like an eyebrow pen. Eyebrow tones for freckles work perfectly because they're kind of like hair tone. They have like a nice coldness to them. Now, we know you shouldn't be making homemade skincare or makeup or anything like that, right? Especially with limes and lemons and things and stuff. We know we can damage ourselves with that, right? And I know it looks really natural, but some natural things can have really intense effects, side effects, and really intense reactions. Skincare and makeup products are made with very well measured out ingredients and tested effects of those ingredients. We don't know how acidic one lime is compared to the next. Wait, do we? No, I don't think we do. Or how much vitamin C one fruit has compared to exactly the same fruit of another size. You know what I mean? We can't measure what is naturally occurring in those single things and how that is gonna react with the skin. Whereas in an actual lip scrub or a lip tint, we can. So do just be careful. Sometimes the natural way isn't always the safest. And I know that sounds backwards, but it's true.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you want to be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Let me tell you why I hate that. Okay, 1, lash glue as it is can sometimes be a pain to get out of your eyelashes, right? Or along the lash line. Have you ever sat there and you've just been like, oh my God, what's that? And then you like have a little, and you're like, oh, it's lash glue still. It's horrible to get off the lashes. We are doing this whole thing where people are like, what's an easier way to do lashes? What's a better way to get it close to the lash line? And it, in turn, like really messing up their eyes a lot of the time. You don't need to put lash glue underneath your lashes. Nobody is that close to you that they're gonna be like, excuse me. Your lashes is what's a really low distance? Millimeter or less further away from your, no one's gonna be that close. Here's how to get your lashes close to your lash line without having to put them underneath. Here's a mirror. You're applying your lashes, you tilt your head up, you look down into the mirror. This way, we can see our lash line. You take your eyelash and you come in from this way. I'm holding it like almost flat against, not like this, like this. And I'm gonna drop that. I'm not actually using the mirror. Maybe I should actually use the mirror and show you. Well, I have lashes on already. You're gonna drop that along your lash line and just drop it, just leave it, okay? Give it a few seconds and then you can then start to press it along your actual lash line and then match up all those areas. I can't put it down because the lashes are too, I have a whole video on it. I'll leave it below. But if you put mascara before you put your false lashes on, if you just pinch your lashes together and then I always slide my thumb up through the fake lash, pinch and then slide your thumb up. Your lashes are gonna stick together and you're actually pushing the rib of a lash onto the real lash line a little bit more. You really, really don't need to be sticking glue to your actual lashes, which will take forever to take off. Listen, one day you're not gonna wanna wear fake lashes, but you're still gonna need your eyes and your eyelashes. Maybe you will be, in a nursing home at 90 years old, loving full glam still, which is incredible. But some of us, me, I'm not going to want to wear lashes. I still want my eyelashes to be in good health though, Okay, so straight up, let me just tell you, I could tell that was the brand Scient, which is a multi-level marketing company, which is basically a disguised pyramid scheme. So no hate to the person in the video. However, lifting your face, right, and we've been through this before, you can't just draw lines going upwards and be like, I'm lifted. Lifting sculpting requires a little bit of precision and definition. What is great in that video though, is the area where the sculpting products and the lifting products and the color were kept to this side of the face. When you start to bring product in this side of the face that's darker or color on the cheeks, it can start to droop this area and darken it up a little bit. I was gonna burp, but I really held that in. So we want to keep the brightness in its area. Just because you draw a line up, it doesn't mean it's going to lift. Makeup isn't tape. It doesn't physically lift. Where you want to lift is absolutely here and up the top around this area here. But just drawing a line, it probably isn't going to be enough product to make a kind of lifting effect. You know what I mean? That could have done with even without the lighter one, because the darkness and the blush lifted anyway. If we want to lift, we need to brighten this whole area a lot more than just drawing lines on the face. So that skin prep, let me just tell you, that skin prep, apart from, of course, a wipe isn't a cleanser and it shouldn't be considered one, that skin prep was such a beautiful way of showing how skin should be prepped for makeup without dripping it all over your face and using too much. The color corrector, however, I'm unsure as to what they were trying to achieve with that much orange color corrector. Under the eyes, sure, absolutely. All over the whole face like that was completely unnecessary, especially I believe they're a makeup artist coming from a makeup artist. One reason is because it's not actually color correcting anything on the majority of that individual's face, considering color correction. It's not doing anything. And number two, it's adding an unnecessary layer of product and then going on top with something that looked like a Kryolan paint stick, which is pretty much like the heaviest foundation. I would use that to cover tattoos. I've actually used it to cover my tattoo in the past. You don't really need a color corrector under that either because it is so heavy. Nothing wrong with wearing heavy foundation or full coverage foundation. But when you are, just bear in mind that you can take a layer away, especially something like all that color corrector on the face, to make it look less textured. Full coverage has such a risk of looking textured, and I don't mean skin texture, I mean makeup texture, when makeup starts to look like makeup. So again, nothing wrong with full coverage, but that layer of color corrector over the whole face, completely unnecessary. Like, where was the color you're correcting on that? Orange is used to cover those bluey, kind of purpley tones, and we weren't covering that. So okay, well, thank you so much for joining me. Remember to go ahead and tag me in the most ridiculous and weirdest hacks you've ever seen. Give this video a thumbs up, do consider subscribing, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.